Hello and welcome. It's the 2022 Icelandic Formula Offroad season. This year we have new drivers, new cars, and there are 17 cars entered, all in the exciting Unlimited class. There's a new format taking place this year. We will have 6 races on the season that will be held on 3 weekends. There's always 2 races per each weekend, 1 race on Saturday and 1 on Sunday. And as usual, the season kicks off at Hekla. There's always a bit more excitement for Hekla than most other races in it, and it is probably the most historic event that Formula Offroad has. They've been racing there since 1973, and some of the tracks are truly unique. Now let's go straight into the action. This is Ólafur Bragi Jónsson driving the Fox. We have a 3-time champion. He hasn't competed a full season for a while, but won this race last year. New look on his car and looking good here at the beginning of the first track. Let's take a quick reminder on the rules. For a full distance run, you get 350 points. Now if you touch a marker, that's minus 20 points. 40 if you drive over the marker. 80 penalty points for having only one wheel through a marker, and 40 penalty points for reversing, 10 for stopping, and then we see Ólafur Bragi saving it nicely. Almost got caught there on the hood, but managed to get it going, and there he's trying to get up that final bank, just doesn't quite make it. 230 for length, 60 penalty points, that gives us 170 total. Now, Skúli Kristjánsson driving the Simba. He is the current Icelandic and world champion, and he's upgraded to a 5-liter supercharged Ford Coyote motor. Now easy through the first gate. However, this track, the first track, was a bonus track. It's a special track where having a good time will give you some bonus points. Otherwise, the normal rules apply. So, drivers, well, they have this extra bonus of trying to get some more points. He touched the marker. He touched that one, not sure. The judges will give us a call on that later on. That's another touch. It's at least 40 penalty points so far, but will he make it up the final banking? We didn't see Ólafur go up here, but Skúli does it superbly. 350 points for length, 50 penalty points, and here we are on board with Skúli. Nicely done there. Skúli finishes the first track. Now let's move over to Finnur Aðalbjörnsson. This is the Raptor. Funnily, 2 drivers shared this car on the first weekend. We first saw this car in Iceland last year, and Atli Jamil won the last race of 2021 in it. It's a Norwegian-built car that has been moved over to Iceland, and Þór Þormar, a former champion, will take over and drive the car as well. Finnur struggling here to get the car turned. Hesitation can cost a lot in Formula Offroad, and that's what's happening here. You will need to reverse. That's a lot of penalty points already. Needs to make sure he reverses far enough so he doesn't get any penalty points while going through the gate. Doesn't touch it. Nope. Smooth, managed to get it going there. This car built by Jimmy Berggren. Now moving here through the... Almost gets it. Sat there. The only feeling the Formula Offroad drivers hate. Along with maybe some others. Now, big jump here. Will he make it up? No, didn't get through there. So that's only 250 for length. 70 penalty points. Leaves him with 180. Now, Þórður Atli Guðnýjarson. This is the Spade. He bought this car off the 2020 champion Ingólfur Guðvarðarson, contested a full season last year and ended on a high when he got his first podium in Akureyri. Struggling here, just like we saw Finnur do. He needs to reverse. Hasn't reversed far enough, has he? He's not going to make it through this gate. No, that's a lot of penalty points. Now, Þórður, he wasn't really prepared for this race, just arrived from hospital where his girlfriend had given birth to their daughter just a few hours before the event. So, congratulations to Þórður. Do dads drive better in Formula Offroad? We'll see. We have the comparison from last year. Now, final jump, doesn't make it, gets thrown up there. He just doesn't get any traction to push it all the way through the gate. We'll see if the Spade will do better in track number 2. Next up we have Ingvar Johannesson. This is the Viking. There's been a lot of modifications to this car throughout the winter, and the front end has been completely rebuilt. But what we noticed mostly probably is that there's a new paint job. This car used to be green. Now reversing just like we've seen the last couple of drivers do, but he does it properly there. Ingvar is one of 3 drivers from a small town in the south, pretty close to Hekla, called Myrdal. And this town is famous for actually having more hotel rooms than people. And was featured recently in the Netflix series Hekla, if you've seen that. Now, for the last jump, does he make it? No. Might try to go again. No, won't do it. 210 for length, 60 penalty points. And if you're a quick math, that will give you 150 points. Drivers looking on here, seeing if there are some possibilities to go all the way. We've only seen Skule finish a track with 350 so far. Got some penalty points on top of that. Now, Haukur Viðar Einarsson. This is Hekla. And, well, it suits the play as well, because we see Hekla in the background in every other shot here. Now, a new engine in this car. A KPE custom-built big block Chevy. It was dyno tested at 1118 brake horsepower. And with nitrous, it should be able to go up to 1700 horsepower. You know, just because 1100 isn't enough. Like the horsepower here, don't we? Now, Haukur does this smooth. Managed to go through that first gate without a penalty. No touching at least. Doesn't look like he's going for the bonus points, but we've only seen one driver finish so far, so there might be possibilities just if he finished. He's getting pretty close to almost getting stuck there, but managed to make it through. And we haven't seen him even push the throttle properly yet. Now for the big jump at the end, managed to get it going there, and that's a nicely done run there from Haukur. Now new driver here in a new car. This is Sævar Benónýsson, and this is Móri. There's also a new engine in the Formula Offroad. We haven't seen it before. It's a supercharged Hellcat motor. Will he need to reverse? There's some teething problems there. He's not getting it into reverse. We need to try and make it, but goes out of the track. Trouble is in the first course for the new car. Now here's another newcomer. This is Jón Reynir Andersson driving Thunderbolt. This is the car that Atli Jamil used to race. He used to be the team boss, but has now taken the wheel, and there is his first roll. Pretty unnecessary, but it's good to finish your first roll early, I guess. However, there was a hard hit there on the rock face, and Jón found out after the weekend that he had actually cracked a few ribs during that hard hit. Sometimes the ones that don't look hard seem to hurt drivers most. Now, Sigurður Ingi Sigurðsson driving Yippee. This is his 3rd season. Nicely done there. Gets it turned properly. Still looking for his first podium though. Could be this year. So far, really good here from Sigurður Ingi. This car is perfectly paint jobbed to not get lost anywhere in the hills. And this is all really smooth, but he won't go for it. Only 220 for length. However, 220 points, not too bad. But I would have wanted to see him go for that final push. Now, Geir Grímsson here, driving the Sledgehammer. This is his 2nd season in this car, and last year he had to use an engine. He got out of his motorhome. Geir going for it here. Gets thrown up there. Now, this car has a new racing engine, but it only gives him 160 points here for the first track in Hekla. Fjölnir Guðmundsson, this is Eva 2.0. Spectacular here. Managed to get the jump and gets it going. There's an 800 horsepower big block Chevy in this car. And it's his 2nd season with this car. He managed to get it turned here. No, gets pushed way too far. Did he catch the gear there? No, looks like he's not turning the wheels at all. So that's the end of the track for him. Now here we have Ingi Már Björnsson. He's driving the Bomb. He bought this car off Ásmundur after last season. However, Ingi, a bit of a legend in the sport. He was 1997 world champion, but hasn't competed for 23 years. And he doesn't seem to have forgotten a thing here in the first track. Going here for the final climb. Well, maybe a little bit of guts. Got lost on the way. 140 points here after 80 penalty points. Now, Svanur Thomasson driving insane. The car kept running into problems all last season, but now everything seems to be working. And there we go, a big jump from Svanur. Maybe not a lot of points, but definitely a crowd pleaser. 90 points for length. He's won quite a few Best of Show awards during the years. And you can add this one to the list. Svanur, entertainer. Now here we have Þórðarmar Pálsson sharing the car with Finnur. We saw Finnur doing this earlier. Þórðarmar, there's a lot more aggression here. Þórðarmar is the champion in 2018 and 2019, and of course Thor has his classic KFC livery, and he really needs to make it up all the way here to keep Haukur and Skúli at arm's length. First race in the Raptor for Þórðarmar, and going here up the hill, nicely done, managed to get it going there and gets through the gate and gets 25 bonus points for the fastest run, so he will end up with the 270 points for this track, plus the 25 for the bonus. Now, Árni Svansson driving the Storm. There's a different engine in this car this year. He got rid of the 4-cylinder Honda Turbo, but now he has the same Hellcat engine as Móri. Both drivers come from the south of Iceland. Seems to be a bit of a Hellcat pandemic there. And, well, that's the first roll for a Hellcat we see in Formula Offroad. You see it again here, just catches it. It's really like the rear tires and the movement of them actually gets it turned there. Now Guðmundur Eliasson driving the Rodeo. This is another new build. Guðmundur and his team built a brand new car this season using the same engine, transmission and axles from the old Rodeo. Now let's see if new beats old. Guðmundur here going for the final push. Track's getting pretty easy to get to it, but the climb is a bit rough. Nice line there, but just doesn't... It's too late on the power. Looks like once it's up there, might have been able to pull up, but that's 160 points. And is that a flat rear tire as well? Now, track number 1, Skúli leads with 340 points. Haukur Viðar second, Þórðarmar in third, and Sigurður Ingi fourth. Jón Reynir comes in fifth. It's always a big crowd at Hekla, the local search and rescue. We'll have this competition every year, and now let's focus on Finnur Aðalbjörnsson driving the Raptor. The second track starts out a bit easy like the first one. No penalties so far, and now for the final climb, a big climb here. The steel there is just so rough. Now going for it, managed to get the jump. The car is landing correctly, but it's just not on the throttle. There we would have seen a more experienced driver do it, but everything up to that point really nice. Here's Þórður Atli Guðnason, and this final climb is proving to be difficult. A roll for Þórður, but it's still a spade, even though it's upside down. Now will Haukur try? He has all the horsepower in the world. Sort of just tries it on, but decides not to go for it. 190 points for Haukur. Now this is a chance for 100 points extra over everybody else, and here's Sævar Benodisson, tries to go for it, but that's a big roll, and that's definitely some broken Hellcat parts there. He's on full throttle when he lands, so the rears simply just spin the car over. He missed the next track due to the damage that we see here. And after that crash, nobody tried. All the drivers decided it was too steep to even give it a go. So we can see them all just trying to go as far as they can before reversing out of it. But those who tried, failed. However, Þórðarmar Pálsson is not the same species as the rest of us. The Raptor has really soft suspension. They can travel pretty far, and he managed to utilize it here. Big climb, Þórðarmar going for it, big jump. Almost gets it all the way up. but manages to land on his tires. No. 220 points for Thormar. Now, Ólafur Bragi Jónsson driving the Fox. If Ólafur Bragi gets it up here, he could make up for the first track. Decides not really to go for it. So that's a 210 points for him. Here we have Skúli Kristjánsson driving Simba. He will hold the lead after this track just by going up to the climb. He doesn't want to extend it. He's seen all his rivals fail. Does he go for it? He does. But simply, well, gets 10 extra points for length there. So that's 220 for Skúli. Nicely done. Skúli, 50-point lead on Haukur Viðar after 2 tracks. Þór Þormar in 3rd, Sigurður Ingi 4th, and Finnur is now 5th. Now let's move over to the 3rd track. This is Haukur Viðar Einarsson, and it's a long track, but like most of the tracks in Hekla here early morning at least, they had a pretty easy start to them, ending in a big climb. A very classic Hekla track here. Drivers have to go up and down before the final climb, and the trick is to really not get any penalties during these first parts of the course. Need to be clever. And now a big climb, going for it. Will Haukur get there up in the first one? He managed to do that. 40 penalty points for the marker in the final gate, but his power steering seems to be gone. He can't drive away, and then he doesn't get 50 extra points, so that's only 300 for length. The drivers need to be able to remove their car from the end. Now Sigurður Ingi Sigurðsson driving Yippee. He was sitting 4th before the 3rd track. Now Sigurður has matured a lot as a driver in his first 2 seasons, and he's hoping to challenge for victories this year. Sigurður here going through the more simple part of the course, and now going for a big jump there. Missed the gate. Will he manage to get a wheel in there? He did. 350 for length, 60 penalty points. That's 290. Let's see that again. Nicely done by Sigurður Ingi there. Now Jón Reynir Andersson driving Thunderbolt. He has to take it a bit carefully here. He's in quite a lot of pain from those broken ribs in the first track, but adrenaline is one hell of a drug. And Reynir going for that final climb. Will he back out of it? He is actually going up there. It looked like it backed out of it, but what a drive! What a drive! Speed isn't always the answer, although it is most of the times. 350 for length, only 20 penalty points. What a drive! Now, Geir Grímsson. This is the Sledgehammer. Might have seen how the last one went up. Decides to go a similar route and managed to get it through there. Nicely done. He got his first and only win here in 2019. Has been competing since 2015. Now, Fjölnir Guðmundsson. This is Eva 2.0. This final climb might be getting a bit trickier, and he just needed more speed. 220 for length, no penalty points, so Fjölnir at least gets quite a few points out of this. Ingimar Björnsson competed from 96 to 98, but he hasn't even driven since. What he managed to do here. Big jump, nicely done, managed to land it and get his tire through the final gate. That's 350 for length and 50 penalty points, so that will give him 300 points. Now Svanur Örn Tómasson driving Insane. It's great to see Svanur with a car that actually works. He's gonna go for it. Gets thrown up there, but managed to recover nicely. 80 penalty points for Svanur this run. That will give him a total of 270. Now Þór Þormar Pálsson driving the Raptor. It's one of our 3 drivers currently fighting for first place, and could gain a place on Hekla if he scores more than 270 points here. Big jump from Thor Thorma, but lands it nicely, and that's all 4 tires through the gate. Only 20 penalty points for him, 330 total. Now Arne Isvansson driving the Storm. The Hellcat sounds nice here. The V8 is rumbling, and this is really nicely done from Arne. That's 40 penalty points, so 310 in total. Now Guðmundur Eliasson driving the Rodeo. The final climb kept getting harder. More loose sand was swept beneath the cliff face, so there's less traction. Now let's see what Guðmundur Eliasson does here. Gets thrown up, way up in the air. Managed to land it, no! And that's a big roll from the jump. Now let's see here. There's a broken front axle there as well during the landing. The tire, you can see how it is not turning the same way as the other front tire. Next up, Ólafur Bragi Jónsson driving the Fox. Usually the tracks in Hekla seem to evolve and get easier, but not today. And he gets stuck there, doesn't manage to go all the way there. 230 for length. Skúli Kristinsson driving Simba, and this starting position could spell trouble for our leader. Decides to go for it though, gets up onto the banking, and that's nicely done. 350 for length, only 10 penalty points. That's 340 in total. Now Finnur Albjörnsson driving the Raptor. Lacking experience there, and that ends up in a big roll. And now, this is the trouble of having 2 drivers in the same car. Now they need to repair the Raptor for Thor just to make it to the next track. Þórður Atli Guðniarsson. Nicely done. Managed to get the traction, and that's a superb run. No penalty points for Þórður. Now we have Ingvar Jónesson driving the Viking. And that's porpoising in Formula Offroad there at the beginning. For F1 fans. Now the final climb is not getting any easier. Will he make it up there? No. 234 length. So, let's look at the standings after 3 tracks. Skúli leads with 900 points. Þór Þormann is second and Haukur Viðar is third. Jón Reynir and Sigurður Ingi not sitting far behind Haukur. That's it for the action from the first 3 courses in Hekla. In the next show, we will show you all the action from tracks 4, 5 and 6. The river, the time attacks. It will be a blast. See you next time.